Hey friends, this is David Bedrick. Going to do an episode of UnShamed TV live, and we'll wait a few minutes for people to come, and I will have, hello Sophia and Ali, and others. I'm going to be doing a session of UnShamed TV. Oh, Angela, great, you're here. Okay, could you send a request, Angela, and then I'll take a moment and get you in. Yeah, I think you did that already. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, give me a second just to say hello to people. Oh, thanks, Bob and Briggs, loving my content, appreciate that. And other people, good to have you here. Some of you probably have been to UnShamed TV Live. In these sessions, these programs, I work with a person who has been previously vetted. They know that that I'm not going to be their therapist. That they're consenting to be online, obviously. So it's not a private experience, and it's a one-time experience. I don't know what the person's going to bring to me. I like to start by not knowing as opposed to figuring it out, so I'm not thinking ahead of time. And hi everybody. And that allows the unshaming approach to be pure. By pure, I mean I don't have a preordained viewpoint of what has to be done. I'm genuinely following, thank you, Francesca. I'm genuinely following another person and learning from them. And that's, to me, is the essence of a client-centered approach, an unshaming approach, which says the medicine is in the other person, not in me anyway. I don't have to know things other than, of course, a set of skills and how to pay attention to another person. So I'm going to take a sip of water, and then I'll invite Angela to our live, and then we'll explore together. Hey, from Australia. Where are you in Australia, Laura? Yeah. Hey, from Cluj. I loved your speech and I cried so much. Thank you. I loved being in Cluj, and I'm hoping that I'll be back to either teach some therapists there. Somebody mentioned that they would like to have me there, and maybe I'll be, Sunshine Coast, great. And maybe I'll be back at the Inner. Some people don't know that I was in Romania, and I did a talk in front of, they say 700 people in that audience, and then I did a workshop, and then I went to Slovakia to Košice and did a workshop there, and they just translated and published my third book, You Can't Judge a Body by Its Cover, which is also translated into Russian. And I have a new book coming out, The Unshaming Way, going to be published with North Atlantic Books, which I'm really proud of, that book and that publisher, and that'll be out in November. Okay, let me get you, Angela. I have a new pen, everybody. I'm very excited about it. It's a privilege pen because it cost me $60. I've never spent that much on a pen before, but I decided I can be nice to myself, and I love pens. Okay, here it is. It's cool. Hi, Angela.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you really well, and I'm going to adjust my thing so that it doesn't cut off my head. Cut off. My head's cut off. Oh, well, maybe that would be good. Sometimes people have too much head. And let's see, one more shift. There we go. I think that's probably good. Is that good? Yeah, that's probably good. I'm going to lower my seat just a drop. There we go. Hi, we don't know each other, I don't think. Do we know each other?
No, not yet.
Not yet. How did you find me and UnShamed TV and things like that?
Gosh, I think it was maybe through Facebook or just kind of seeing you on YouTube.
Cool.
Social media.
Cool. Where do you live?
In Chicago, Illinois.
In Chicago, Illinois. Oh,
Yeah.
Chicago, the Windy City. Good pizza there, you know.
Yes. How about you? Where do you live?
Right now, I live in Santa Barbara, California.
Oh, nice.
And I moved here a year ago. Yeah, it's a really beautiful spot. I was in New Mexico for 13 years, but I grew up in New York, so I have a New York style sensibility and humor and things like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you said you like Chicago pizza. Do you like New York pizza or Chicago pizza better?
Well, you see, I'm winking now because now you're going to hear my New York snobbery. You see, because in New York it's not New York pizza. It's just pizza. Everybody else has to say Chicago pizza, New Orleans pizza, but New York you just said pizza. You see, I'm winking, right? That's our snobbery. We are the originals.
Got it.
As if Bologna, Italy doesn't know any of the same pizza. Only New York does. So it's yeah. Say what's on your mind a little bit, or heart a little bit, or what we can try to help you with, and we'll do our best. And sometimes, by the way, I'm telling you and everybody, sometimes my head will be like this, which is partly to show you my bald spot, but it's mostly because I'm taking notes. So if I'm like this, that's, you know, I'm not whatever. I'm taking notes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, first of all, it's very unusual that I would be doing an Instagram live.
Yeah.
For a while, I've been, trying to learn more how to like express myself. Sharing my truth and kind of being okay with it and everything. And
wow.
I think I've been getting better at it.
Oh, good.
But I still, I did want to say up front that I have had experiences with disassociation.
Oh.
I'm going to ask you to please pause if you notice me going somewhere to keep us on track.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in dissociation, and I'm happy to work with that. You don't even have to come out of it. We could actually go deeper into that and learn something about it if you like.
I guess I'm open.
Okay.
I'm open to it.
Okay.
I think where I want to start is the fact that, I kind of wrote a few notes just to keep me on track at the beginning a little bit.
Very good.
I have a lot of chronic illness since I was 15.
Oh.
Tons of them, like 50 symptoms and all these crazy mystery diagnoses and things like that.
At some point, it would be good for me to hear which ones are active or disturbing you the most.
Sure.
Just because we couldn't do all 50. But at some point, it'd be good to know these are the ones that are active or the ones that worry me the most or scare me the most.
Okay. Well, one of them is actually what I want to work on. Good. So I have mast cell activation syndrome.
Say that again slowly.
Mast cell. Activation
syndrome. Okay,
syndrome. And it's where your body see things as dangerous or as allergic symptoms, but you're not actually allergic to it. So
you mean you're not biochemically, physically allergic?
Correct. Gotcha. So I have a lot of different reactions to things. So many, like multiple chemical sensitivities to different foods.
That's really
perfumes, to so many things.
That's really helpful to me to hear. Mm-hmm.
And so one of the main challenges I'm having right now in that regard, how it affects me the most, well, I don't know. Most challenging parts of it is I've been housebound for around 4.5 years. And that's due to 2 reactions I get when I go outside.
Yes.
Well as just the chronic health conditions I have. And I will, you said you wanted to know kind of the main things, the different, I'll go back to that, but you had mentioned.
Let me just Can I slow you down just for a
Sure.
second?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I don't want to interrupt you because you're the center, not me.
Yeah. Tell me what you'd like me to.
But what you're saying is really important. You're saying a lot of important things already to me. That doesn't mean we have to do anything. I want to hear more. But you're saying to me you have a whole host of chronic symptoms. You're saying that dissociation sometimes happens, which implies the possibility of trauma. Some people say it implies trauma for sure, but I'm not needing that. I don't like to say this is what's happening because you're the authority, not I'm the authority of how to get there, but not what is it. But I just want to mention the name trauma because it could be possible that that's territory that's needing help. And then that you say you're housebound for 4.5 years. When you tell me that, I have a reaction, you see, and I'm a human being, and I want you to know, right? So something goes, oh, she's really having a hard time. I'm wanting to amplify with the feelings that are in I'm not making them up. I'm really feeling them, but I want to let you know. Oh, and a number of people who are listening, who will listen, will hear, and they'll have a reaction. They'll be, oh, wow. That's quite a story or a limitation or an experience or a difficulty. And I want to say to everybody not to pathologize that, not to say, oh, she's got a trauma issue and that keeps her in the house and she has to. Don't think of this person as a broken person, but as an interesting human being who's had powerful experiences. Some of them may be violent experiences that her system is intelligently responding to. I want to frame it that way, you see, so that when you say things like, I have these reactions, but they're like allergic reactions, but I'm not allergic. From my UnShaming point of view, Angela, I say allergies are reactions. They don't have to be in the biochemical aspect. Does that make sense? Yes. I could be allergic to people because their style makes me uncomfortable and my body will react to the uncomfort. I can be allergic to going into a cafe where the workers aren't treated well because then I'll get a little nervous inside because the environment is hostile. And I know people don't use the term that way, Angela, but that's because people are limited and don't understand that allergies mean a sensitive reaction to certain things in the environment. Just because someone can't prove it in their model doesn't mean it's not real and doesn't mean it's not body. I get nervous. My wife she calls herself a highly sensitive person. She goes into certain places and she gets itchy. You say, well, that's not a real allergy. It's real because her body feels something that doctors and medical people don't know how to measure, but her body really has a reaction. And it's not because something's wrong with her when she's too sensitive. It's because she's more awake to certain things than I am. Does that make sense? So I want to give you the framework for how I'm listening to you. You're sensitive to, that means you notice. Sensitivity, some people say I'm sensitive, that means I'm as bad. Wouldn't it be better if I'm not sensitive? But I think when a person says I'm sensitive, that means they are aware of things that other people might not be aware of. And they feel things that other people might not feel. And that's a good thing. That's a gift. That doesn't mean it's easy. That means it's harder walking around in a world that's insensitive. But I want to frame it like that. You live in a world that's less sensitive to you. The illness, if there is one, is an insensitive world, not a too sensitive Angela. Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you because I have lived a life where I've had doctors since I was a teenager kind of invalidate so many of the symptoms I've been going through.
I understand.
And just a life where a lot of people invalidated my sensitivities.
So sorry about that. That's part of the trauma, you see, because what people don't understand, I'm saying this in general. I don't make general statements, David. I'm going to make a general statement. What most people don't understand about trauma is the trauma itself, the violation, the hurt that shook the system. I'm calling that a trauma, right? Something happens to me, a childhood abuse for me, it was, and my system gets shocked by that. That's not a big problem. I'll tell you what the big problem is. The problem is the environment in which that happens. Because if that happens in an environment that says, oh, what happened, David? That's serious. I care about that. I won't dismiss that. I won't deny that. I'm going to treat you like something serious happened. The system begins healing itself. But when the environment doesn't do those things, then those violences get locked into the system. And that's what we call trauma. It's the environment. So if you live in an environment that dismisses, denies that something's happening for you, that is the problem. The trauma is not the problem. It's the environment around what happened, the stories that you've had and the experiences you've had, the environment around that doesn't give it a chance to do its thing. I'm not saying it's okay to get abused. It's no big deal. It's a freaking big deal. I had a father who used fists and belts to express his rage. It's a big freaking deal. But how come my system didn't sort of find its way with that? That's a holding environment. And the doctors represent that, and other people in your life, early life, did something similar, didn't get it, didn't treat you like you're having reactions to something that belong given what happened. So I want to change that mindset in you and other people. I got to say one more thing, just for you and people. I've worked with many people who have not left their home. I've worked with one person who didn't leave their home in over 17 years. It doesn't freak me out. I don't think, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? I think people do intelligent things. And I remember working with that person, and I remember asking her, what's so good about being home? And she sobbed. And I said, why are you crying? She said, I've been working on this for years. No one's ever asked me. Everyone's trying to get me out of the house. Can you follow? No one's ever said what? Has asked the fundamental human question. Yeah. So I just wanted to offer that unshaming notion about how I'm holding and caring for the things you're telling me. I'm not thinking, whoa, that's really bad. Whoa. I'm not thinking those things. I'm thinking, wow, that's a strong reaction. There must be a deep intelligence in you that says, don't leave the house, and feelings in you and sensitivities to the world that are gifts of yours. That's how I'm thinking of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So important. I'm touched that you would be here and be in public and talk about these things together. That's also a gift to all of us, including me. Yeah.
I definitely identify with being an empath and a highly sensitive person.
Yeah.
And I see it as, I don't see it as a curse, but I see it feeling it's a curse for me. And I see it as a gift as well.
Yeah. That's how those things are.
Yeah.
Everybody who has a gift, everybody has a gift. Everybody who's interested in their gifts and wants to bring them forward, the more those gifts are brought forward, the more extraordinary they are. And the word extraordinary means extraordinary. That means I'm not ordinary. And when I enter the world more and more as the gifts I have, I will disrupt people, and many people won't like that. And that will be something like a curse. Can you follow? It's a gift. But anytime a person takes the depths of who they are and brings them into the world, it will disrupt the status quo. And the status quo says, we will diagnose you, we'll jail you, we'll do something to you, right? We'll gaslight you, we'll deny you, we'll marginalize you, we'll do something so that we don't have to be shaken and awakened by your gifts and your style of intelligence and beauty. So, yeah. I want to make sure I'm back to focusing on you. I just wanted to frame, because you're bringing up big things, I wanted to frame it for you and for other people. The eyes that I want to look at you with, so I don't think, oh, that's a sick person, I better help her, maybe she's really having a hard time. You are having a hard time. But I don't look at you as a sick person needing healing. I look at you as a person who needs to be deeply understood and help you to become more yourself. That's how I think. But should we spend time with one of the allergies, or is there something more? Anything you want to do? You want to tell me?
So I find it really interesting that I did have challenges before the pandemic with mast cell reactions and things.
Yes.
And so many other things and reactions. But I find it very possibly significant that this got so much worse when the pandemic started during COVID and everything. And I wonder if there's some type of residual fear of that.
Yeah,
something.
There's something that if I trust your system, which I do, then you're saying something happened around the pandemic that also I'm sensitive to. It activates aspects of me, and it's an important event in the story of my symptom. That's how I'm listening to you.
I think so. I think, or maybe it just kind of pushed it over the edge a little bit, because I was already dealing with so much. And I also, it also affects me a lot, just not just going outside, but just I'm very isolated, because I also, when people come over, I react to their perfumes and colognes and laundry detergent. So it's challenging to be so isolated.
Yes, it isolates you. And similar, when people have certain gifts, especially if they're from more marginalized communities, right? If you put a person with different colors and gender orientations and et cetera, and religions, the more a person is unique, the more isolated they're likely to become. I'm just framing that, but I understand that. There's two things that move me so far.
Sure.
To get to know more about, and neither of these may be important to you, and we'll do something else. I'm interested in the isolation and the difficult experiences you have. I'm isolated. These are the reactions I have, and they're difficult for me. And I'm interested in the creative energy. I don't know how to say this different without showing it eventually. The creative energies that live in you. Mm-hmm. I'll talk more about how to do that are related to that, but both are important. Mm-hmm. What would be best? What's best? What do you think would be best for you? And we'll navigate together and find our way. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I'm trying to learn how to feel safe. I had a traumatic childhood. You were right. I do have a trauma history.
Yeah.
And I also, I went from a traumatic childhood to marrying an abusive man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For 1.5 years.
Can I ask, was that physically abusive, sexually abusive, or is that okay to ask?
Mentally, like financially, like
everything.
Yeah.
And let's slow down there again. Just I want me and then the audience to take that in, because when someone says, I was in a violent home, and I also grew up, and I was then in a relationship, a marital relationship in this case, with someone who abused me, injured my body sexually, my finances, my feelings, my feeling and emotional and physical life. That's a big thing. We shouldn't normalize that. And what has to happen is feeling reactions. Because when you say that, I get a little teary, and my hair goes on my arm, and I get upset. I want to scream, and I want to cry, and I just want to bring in normal reactions. When people say those things, it's good to know that people feel things. And they do. Some people will feel things, or they'll back up, or they'll be like, that's too much for me. All of that is good. So I say to everybody, take care of yourself. We're talking about strong material. We don't want to act like it's just a newspaper article. We want to act like it's a real person who's had real experiences.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about that husband person also, your family system, and then the husband person who and I'm assuming you're not with that person anymore.
I am not, but when I got divorced, the judge actually, I have a daughter, and when my daughter was very young, when we were going through the custody situation, the judge decided to give us joint custody.
Yeah.
So we were, attempting to co-parent until my daughter was 18.
Oh.
So that was, it was like I got away, but I didn't get away.
I'm so sorry. How old's your daughter? I won't ask you.
She's actually 19.
Okay.
So he's out of my life now. So I'm very grateful.
Yay. And that took a while, because the child relationship then says you can't only leave, so to speak. You're partially left. That's good. And now that situation, and just in terms of your daughter's care, because you mentioned her, I want to make sure she's cared about at least a little bit. Just I can't know about it, but are you able to talk to her about the violence that happened with you and in the home and with her?
Actually, I don't. Uh, I don't want to get into my daughter's thing too. We don't really have
let's stay away then.
We have a terrible relationship, but I just don't want to get into that.
Let's not get into that.
Typically just with my daughter.
Okay, let's not get into that. I just want, okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. I'm with you. With the whole story.
I mean, I had other relationships, unhealthy relationships in between that time. I basically got away from all the trauma and abuse about 2 years ago. So my life, everything was until 2 years ago. And so now I'm out. So I'm grateful.
Good work.
But so I guess in saying that is like, I think my body felt unsafe. Every part of me felt so unsafe for so long.
Yes.
So I think just like these last 2 years, I'm still trying to just kind of figure out how to feel safe. Yeah. So I think it's still challenging my whole system to be like, to just realize that it's actually a safe world when I wasn't in it for so long.
It's not only a safe world. I have to confirm, I have to affirm your system, you see. Yeah. If you think, I'm just the person who had these stories and therefore I feel like the world is unsafe, but that's not really true. It's all because of my past. That's not the whole story. You will feel things in the world that are not only safe, whether those are chemicals in the environment, whether those are people attitudes and feelings, whether those are perfumes that really do, or scents that really do affect people. Yeah, the world is not only safe. It's very important, because if you think you're not feeling safe because something's wrong with you that needs to be fixed, as opposed to you're really feeling things and noticing things, that won't be helpful to you. You'll shame your system, and you won't trust it to educate you, to show you. So we don't want to make that approach. People do that. Well, I just had an unsafe childhood, so I think unsafety is everywhere. Yes, you can be wrong and project onto people, but the world is also not totally safe. Yeah, that's true. So to help you with your safety, the first thing I would want to know is what it's like to be unsafe. You see, otherwise we try to get you somewhere and we don't trust you. You're saying, I experience the parts of the world or all over the world as unsafe. And I want to know what it's like to experience the world as unsafe. Not because I think that's wrong, but because I think you're intelligent about things. And I want to make sure you trust your system more, not less when we end. What's it like to feel unsafe?
Let me sit with a second.
Yes.
I'm not usually asked that.
Yeah. I want to know you, not change you. I want to know you. That's touching already. You're not usually asked that. Let me give you a little tip. If you can, notice in your body where the sense of unsafety lives. You don't have to have an answer like it's this or that. You could say, I feel it in my belly, or I feel it in my jaw, or I feel it in my fingers, or my eyes. Where does the sense of unsafety live in your body?
In my gut.
Great.
Yeah, definitely. I tend to have, just like when I get stressed out, I have, like IBS and different digestive issues. And I definitely, when I get stressed, a lot of times it goes right there, like to my gut issue.
Great. And then I want to say to your gut, thank you so much for being alert and for being smart and for not being calm when stresses are around, even though we want you to go away so that Angela doesn't suffer from those symptoms. Thanks for not forgetting that the world can be dangerous. Thank you, gut. That's not easy, but I want to make a relationship with your gut. That's not one of how do we make you go away. I want to make a relationship with your gut that says, thank you. You're helpful.
I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone. You're so nice. I'm not used to like people that ask about this stuff. It's very strange.
Yeah. So people, because the healing industry is so involved in getting things. Oh, IBS. Here's what to do about it so you don't have it. Yeah. And they never ask, what is it you actually have? I have IBS. I shit sometimes, and then I get diarrhea, and then I get clogged up. But people don't talk about the details.
Yeah, even like I've been going to therapy for, well, I don't know, for the majority of my life. And a lot of times, even if I'm disassociating, or they kind of gloss over a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I know I said that a few times, but
Let's not
it's
gloss
unusual
over stuff.
that you're
Your
asking.
story, if we gloss over things, then we are creating an insensitive environment, you see. And then your sensitivity won't feel like it's at home. It'll feel like it's a problem.
Exactly.
And we don't want to treat you like you're a problem. Can you put your attention on your gut? This experience of not feeling safe, at least a little bit, and just feel it somatically. That means as a sensory experience, tingling or churnings or pressures or movements or temperatures. Just feel the body experience of your gut. Tell me what it's like in there.
Feels like I see the picture of a rock. I'm very clairvoyant. I'm very like, I don't know. I feel like I'm in touch with, I'm clairvoyant and clear, lots of different stuff like that. So I guess I would say that I feel like it feels heavy. It looks like a rock, and it has sharp edges.
Oh wow!
Very heavy.
Very important.
It's
very important. It's heavy and it's sharp edges.
Yeah.
And there's a clairvoyance thing that comes up when I ask that question. All those subtleties. It makes you think of clairvoyance for some reason.
Yeah, it's more just like, I mean, I'm just naturally clairvoyant. I close my eyes and I see pictures when I think about different situations.
Great.
It's kind of movie scenes type things. But it's interesting that when I'm like looking at this image, is like, I see two images, and one is a boulder, and it's like literally like so heavy, and it's pushed in, it's stuck in the ground. Yes. But then I also, and it's just like concrete. And then I see another image of this rock in my hand, and it's smaller, but it's very sharp, and it's like poking me, and it's like just very sharp.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. There's two kinds of things that are happening. There's the heaviness that you feel in your life at times, and there's the poking, sharp things. But I want to offer you something that may be more helpful given our limited time.
And are you asking for the feeling? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, say again. What did you say? I missed it.
I kind of bypassed what I'm feeling. I'm seeing it, but I'm feeling like a very nauseous and constriction in my stomach. It feels very isolated like a circle in my stomach.
Yes, I understand. I'm going to stick with the image and the heaviness, which is also a feeling thing. And I know nauseous is happening, but it's happening in response to something that's in there. We'll get to let me hold the nauseousness for a moment, because I think that might be not as powerful as the rock boulder, sharp-edged rock bouldery thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so keep your eyes on that big boulder. You are seeing it and feeling the sharp edges. I know the boulder, you didn't say had that, but imagine that boulder also has sharp edges like the one in your hand. You're doing great. Mm-hmm. Look at it. See its size, the sharp edges, the bigness of it. It's not a rock, it's a boulder. Mm-hmm. And as you do that, begin to allow your hands and arms to express that energy as if you're kind of going, so I'm like a boulder. Like if you were a child and I say, show me the boulder with the sharp edges, the child would go, oh, I'm like this, and they would play act it. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what I see is I'm like almost like holding my hands around it. I'm like holding it, like trying to contain it.
Great. Let's not contain it yet.
Okay.
Eventually, make believe you are the boulder, not the holder of the
So I
boulder.
am the boulder.
Yes, you are the boulder. Like if I was a child, they show me the boulder, and then they would like paint themselves and put stuff around them, and they would say, "I'm like a boulder." They would do something, right? Like that. Yeah, great. And if your hands or arms hurt, you can put them down and go ahead and keep seeing that boulder and the sharp edges of it, feeling it and expressing it even more. As if you were that same child and you're kind of going, okay, I'll show you. Whoa, it's really big. And you were showing me how big it was and the sharp edges of it. Yeah. And imagine, forget about being Angela for a moment, and imagine that I could shapeshift you into this. A big, massive, heavy boulder. You didn't say massive. A big, heavy boulder with sharp edges. Go ahead. Let yourself be a sharp, big boulder, Angela. Forget about the normal life and all the worldly stuff for a moment. This is you. You're like this. This is what lives inside of you that wants to come up and out. And then if I met you, boulder, sharp edge boulder woman, I'd say, what kind of a being are you? Tell me about you. What's it like being a sharp edged, big, heavy boulder?
Are you asking more abstractly, or like, I'm not entirely sure how to answer that question.
I'm not entirely sure either. That means it's not the best question. We go back to the boulder.
Okay.
Sometimes I ask questions that are helpful and sometimes not. But if you don't find it helpful, then it's not. I'm not putting myself down by that. That's just learning.
I'm not sure how to contain it to a question. Like I'm not sure.
Yep.
I understand the question really.
Yeah, go ahead. Go back to the boulder energy, like the child. This is me. And let's imagine that I started moving towards, let's imagine, here's my hand, Angela, and you're this sharp edge boulder. And here comes my hand and it's moving towards you. Your hand just did something different. It moved like this. And what are you doing with those hands? Keep those hands going. What are you doing with those hands?
Keeping you out.
Smart. Go ahead, keep me out. You can keep me out like a sharp edge boulder can. That's pretty good. And then keep going with that. You're keeping me out. And I say, why are you keeping me out? Believe in your answer. Don't worry about David. He's fine.
Because you're unsafe and you'll hurt me. It's interesting. I have a circle right here. See the circle in my hand?
Yes, I'm noticing that. What's so good? What is it? What's good about the circle? You can look through it?
It's because I can still see it. I can still evaluate if you're safe or not.
Great.
I can be clear about it.
Great. Please keep those hands up unless it hurts.
Nope.
And look through there. We're learning something about how to deal with safety and what your symptoms are doing. Your symptoms are saying, I'm not only in a safe world, I'm gonna make a big boulder that can't be hurt so easily, and that's pretty strong, but I'm gonna be able to look and evaluate you. How smart, huh? How smart to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And what if I said, no, trust me, you should open up. You just have some kind of an allergy that's kind of weird from your past. What would this one say? Go back to it.
That would say, like, that's bullshit. Like, why should I trust you? Like, I tried to trust in the past and it screwed me over.
Well, maybe stay with it. Well, I think you have some kind of a syndrome, and if you got over that, then you would just be open and trusting. You'd have a normal life. Stay with it. Stay with it. Look through that circle. Evaluate what I'm saying. Trust the boulder in your hands.
you're being closed. You're not seeing me.
Oh, I hadn't realized that. That's deep. That's deep, and you're nodding. That's important to you. You're evaluating me clearer than you might sometimes. I don't know whether you're right or wrong, but you're not open and you're not seeing me. You're not seeing me. I'm not letting the boulder down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no way. Uh-huh. Yeah. If you lived your life more like this, if I could transform you, I'm not wanting to do it, into this, a boulder with sharp edges, with a hole that you can look through and evaluate,
Mm-hmm.
how would you live differently? Or the same?
If I could have the boulder,
Yeah.
if I could live like this.
Yeah, if you can live like this.
I feel like I already do that. Like I evaluate people and I react based on the fact that I don't feel seen. Like, and I that's how my whole body's responding.
Right.
Like whether I'm saying it and reacting this way, I feel like that's how I react to life.
Right.
I react as if people are unsafe and as if I need to evaluate them and that I shouldn't trust them.
Yes. When you evaluate them, do you feel like a big boulder with sharp edges or a vulnerable person who's scared only?
I mean, technically, both. Yeah.
Yeah. What would be different if you evaluated them from the perspective of being a big, massive boulder with sharp edges?
Maybe I would feel stronger.
You're not sure.
Maybe I would feel. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Let's go back to the boulder. You're doing perfect, by the way. We're both doing perfect. Go back to the boulder energy. Those big, and feel the boulder. The sharp edges. How big is the boulder? Is it like 10 feet, 20 feet? Is it?
Yeah, maybe like 20 feet.
Yeah. Please feel what it would be like to be 20 feet tall and rock.
It's unmoving. It's unmoving. It's solid.
Yes. Great. Keep going with that. You're unmovable and you're solid and you're 20 feet big.
Yeah. No one can move. Not even.
No one could move you.
Literally, no one.
I could take
move me.
10 of me and try to move the boulder, and I wouldn't be able to budge it.
And I have sharp edges, so if they get too close, it will automatically poke them.
Yeah. If I get too close, you won't just evaluate me, you will poke me.
I will poke them.
Yes. Keep feeling that. Feeling, Angela, what it's like to be 20 feet tall, solid, rock, immovable. Solid, rock. Yeah.
Yeah, but when I'm like feeling it, it feels like it's not helpful though. It feels like it's almost like I'm not alive.
Go ahead and don't be alive for a moment.
Okay.
I understand. It doesn't have to be helpful. Maybe it won't be helpful at all.
I'm not saying it's not necessarily helpful. I'm just like explaining how the rock feels. Like it doesn't necessarily feel good.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't feel good to Angela.
Yeah.
And I want to know how it feels to the rock. What does the rock feel?
How does the rock?
Forget about Angela for a moment.
Okay, well, it's trying to protect me, and it's
what's it like, Angela? What's it like being a 20-foot tall boulder rock? Not a person, a rock with sharp edges, immovable.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer.
Yeah. Let's try one more time. Go back to the arms, not the looking through, the big arms.
I think it's partly because my hands hurt so much when I hold my hands up.
Oh, they hurt. Okay, keep your hands down.
I mean, I can do it like this, but it's hard to.
That's okay. Put your hands down. Make yourself comfortable.
Maybe I can find a way to kind of prop my arms up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, it's just kind of painful here.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm so glad you take care of your pain. Don't do anything that hurts. You don't even need to use your hands or arms at all.
Okay.
Yeah, but let's try it in a different way. Now, let's try it this way. I'm going to become rock-like. I'll show you how I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I'm going to sit up a little bit. I'm going to move my shoulders, and I'm going to make a rock face. How would you make a rock face? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And imagine your body is rock. Boulder, 20-foot boulder body. You don't have to make it with your hands. Feel it. Feel it in your shoulders. Feel it in your gut. Imagine your gut is boulder. It's no longer human belly. It's boulder. Mm-hmm. And make a sound that rock would make. Ah. Awesome. Let's do that a few more times and teach me to make the sound. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah. Wow.
Like hissing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's a hissing sound. It's a boulder with a hissing sound. Study what it's like to not be Angela, uncomfortable being a rock, but being a boulder. Immovable, hissing when people come near. Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to evaluate this as like a bad or a good thing?
I don't want you to evaluate it at all.
Okay.
I just want you to be a rock.
Okay.
Yeah. And a hissing boulder rock. Don't worry about whether it's good or bad. I don't know whether boulders are good or bad.
It has
They're just
holes in it. It has all around the edge of the rock. It has these like indented circles.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What would be good in life? Now we'll do an evaluation because you suggested what would be good in life about being a 20-foot boulder, immovable with sharp edges and hissing sounds.
The people won't want to get near me.
They won't want to mess with you, would they? Mm-hmm.
No, or they might find it interesting. I don't know.
They might. I find it interesting, but I also notice I better not get too close.
Yeah, a lot of people, if it was a huge hissing rock, they would probably have some fear of it.
Yeah.
Of like, what is it going to do next?
Yeah. What is she going to do? What are you going to do if I get close? Because you're pretty big. I don't know that I could hurt you as a boulder. As a person, I could certainly hurt you. I don't know if I could. Somebody could.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might. What if it did move? What if it like rolled over them and crushed them?
You could roll over me and crush me. I'm understanding more.
Yeah.
You're having a thought now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're nodding because you're having a thought. What's the thought you're having?
Mm-hmm. I think it's that the idea that it's like I have some power in that.
You have an enormous amount of power.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that to be nice to you. I'm saying that because you showed me a 20-foot immovable thing with sharp edges. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to be patronizing. Oh, you're a powerful person. I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'm doing it because you're showing me who you are. You're showing me what lives inside of you. You're showing me what your symptoms are creating. They're responsive and they live inside of your gut, and what wants to come out, the throwing up, wants to bring that out. Bring what out? I'm a person you should be a little frightened with fucking with.
Yeah.
I'm a very powerful human being. You should know that. I could roll over and crush you. That's also you. Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
the you. That's the you that you don't know enough about yet.
Yeah. I'm scared of that power.
Yeah, that's perfect. You're scared of being Angela as big as she actually is. You're scared of the outer world, and there are people who are nasty, no doubt. I'm not dismissing that. And you're also frightened of the power that lives in you, of being a person who could crush other people.
Do you think it's possible?
Hello, friends. I'm back live. Looks like we got interrupted. Angela, I'm really sorry about whatever happened there. I'm not sure if that's on my end, but people weren't responding to me. Oh yeah, Angela, you're back. Yeah. Why don't you make another request, Angela, and we'll see if we can finish up. Oh shoot. Yeah, I see what happened. Okay, Angela, I think you might be coming back in. I'm hoping. Hey, friends, we're in the middle of a session. Hi, Angela.
Hi.
I don't know what, I think my power went out. I'm not positive, but my screen was frozen and I thought it was maybe on your end, but then, because my internet was working, but no one was responding to me. So, sorry about that.
It's okay.
I won't be able to catch everybody up because anybody who comes in who wasn't for the first 45 minutes, we were in the middle of talking to Angela, and I won't be able to describe it all, but I want to finish up at least with us here. I won't be able to summarize all of what we were doing. But you were asking a question. You were asking me a question, and that's where I got, if you remember that question still.
I think it was about my powerlessness, that I feel like I'm afraid. Oh, I was asking you that if you think that it's possible that I almost am having all of these, or some of these symptoms to suppress me, to weaken me so that I can't be powerful. So it's harder for me to be powerful, like the chronic fatigue and
Yes.
mast cell stuff. I can't be around people. Like it's almost like weakening me because I'm afraid of my power.
It's partly what's happening. You're afraid of your power, but the symptoms you see are powerful. Does it make sense? The symptoms are very powerful. They could keep you in the house. They could do all kinds of things to you. So the symptoms are powerful. You see the symptoms as powerful and yourself as powerless relative to the symptoms. These are powerful symptoms. They can attack me. They can. This is a person who can abuse me. I'm less powerful. They can. It's true. And it's also true that you are as powerful as those symptoms. It's your power. It's your power. So yes, the direction over time is connecting to that power. Then you steal back from those traumas, from those experiences, some of the power that's yours. You are a very powerful person. Part of your power is the sensitivity you have to things. It's part of your power. It's not your weakness that your sensitivity. It's that you're powerful. And what happens when something irritates you, provokes your reaction? There's a lot of energy that comes up in you. You just don't know what to do with it. You're frightened of it.
Do you have like a tip?
Yes.
A tip that
Yes. You have to do things to connect with your own power, and we can talk about what those different kind of things are. You need to know, I'm a scared person, I'm a powerless person, people in my body can hurt me. That's true. You don't disown that. Yeah. Like, no, you're powerful, no one can hurt you. People can hurt you, people can hurt me. But it's not the whole story. You're also a very powerful person, frightened of her power, and there's probably good reasons why you were frightened of your power, because people were frightened of you early on. I guarantee it. They're frightened of your sensitivity. It's intimidating to be around someone who notices things that they don't notice. You don't feel powerful when you're young having that, but you are powerful. You're shaking people up. You could crush them. So you have to connect, not disown the fact that you're scared and that life can be scary. We're not going to bypass that, but you have to own and connect with, I'm also a person who could crush people. I'm also a person who's incredibly sensitive. I notice things other people don't notice, and they're frightened of me. That can be scary. Not meaning I should put it away, meaning that's also me. I'm a powerless person, but I'm also a person who's very powerful, who could crush people, who notices things, who's clairvoyant, who's sensitive to things that people don't notice. People are sometimes freaked out because I'm so powerful. You have to know that about yourself. Now, how do you make that transition is the question for the
Yes,
tip.
but you said that I'm a powerless. I don't want to identify as a powerless person.
Okay.
You said I'm powerful.
Yeah, part of you.
I want to identify as powerless.
Don't identify with it
Feel
anymore.
as powerless, but I don't know if I am powerless.
You're not.
Right?
Yeah. I like the way you're making that distinction. It's a feeling experience.
Yeah.
It's a true experience, meaning sometimes things are bigger than you and you can't protect yourself sufficiently. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, like it's like I feel it. Therefore, I create the experience of powerlessness.
That's right. And you're also, and that's not the whole truth at all, and it's not even the most important truth.
Okay.
The most important truth. We're on the same page. Yeah, we're on the same page with that.
Yeah.
Now, how would you, if I said do something every day to connect with, to feel and experience your own sense of, I could crush people, people are probably frightened of me, I have powers and gifts that people are scared of, and I'm not going to put them away, I can jab people, I'm sharp, and I'm pretty immovable. Those are all the things you told me about yourself. By the way, I'm not making those up. How would you connect with that? And I have some ideas myself.
I think what comes up for me, I'm not entirely sure what kind of like just came up is like to not bypass my emotions, to really feel them and to see where, to not bypass my feelings.
Yeah, that's important. Not to bypass your feelings.
Like,
and this is
making those bad and scary.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I just kind of didn't fully connect with what you were saying, but that's kind of what's coming up.
That's what comes up. That's important. Trust your feelings and connect with them and don't bypass them. If you think something is not right, don't think, that's just me. You think something's scarier out there, and let yourself feel intelligent and big and powerful by knowing that, as opposed to, oh, that's some illness of mine.
Yeah. Like even just like my everyday feelings, like if I feel anger or whatever, I'm even like too scared to feel those because I'm like, that's going to bring up all my trauma. So I can't feel them. So I'm like giving all my, all my power away to these emotions.
The trauma is the suppression of the feelings, not feeling them.
Yeah.
The trauma is, I better not feel these things. That's the trauma. The feeling them and living in them, that's healing.
Yeah, I feel like I know that.
You do know it. It's just that somebody convinced you different.
I feel like I know that like cognitively, but it's like I still have that fear.
Yeah. Let it in. What would it be like to know it? Know it for a minute now. Then you can forget it in 10 seconds after. Know it.
Yeah, that feels powerful.
That's it.
It feels like and I am the one controlling the situation.
Yes. And what you're feeling right now, note where in your body are you feeling that power? Everywhere, somewhere in particular?
It's like in my chest area.
Great. Here's the suggestion I have, and then you'll tell me whether it's the wrong or right one, I don't know. But the suggestion I have is I would take at least once an hour, like medicine. Sit or stand, connect with those feelings, know the truth of your emotions and the power, feel it in your chest because that's a touch point for you, and take 1 or 2 minutes with it. You don't have to take any more. 1 minute an hour, up to 3 minutes an hour. But I would do it every hour for at least a few weeks because it's such a big thing, you see. It's a huge experience that's split off, it's marginalized. So you need a regular medicine, doses, and your medicine is doses of your power. That's your medicine. So I would sit and I would feel that. Yeah, you're smiling, that's good feedback. I would sit, I would feel it, but you have to feel it. Don't just think about it. Feel it, believe it. It's not true. I'm going to act like it's true for 30 seconds. I don't care. And do it and feel it in your chest and let it change your posture a little bit or stand or make a sound and then go on your day.
Do I feel the emotions, just feel any emotions that are coming up.
Any emotions that are coming up.
Right.
And believe in them, and believe that feeling them is the healing of the trauma, not the trauma. It's not the trauma. The feeling of it is the release, is the freedom, is your bigness. Your emotions are big. You're a big person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you don't know it yet. That's okay. You're learning that. That takes time. Why do you have such big symptoms? Because you're so freaking powerful. The bigger the person, the bigger the threat they are.
I guess
the bigger the symptoms they have.
Because I'm created them, right? I'm doing that.
Yes and no.
I don't know. I guess sort of. I don't know. Maybe that's a big question, but like,
yes.
Okay. So going back to what you were saying, so feel the emotions, and will that possibly help me feel more powerful and safe enough to go outside?
It may. You have to decide that over time. I don't know. I have to track you with that, because I don't want to say yes and you will, and then you may go out and it's not working. So I don't know.
Okay.
But trust yourself. Feel the bigness. I would do that before you try to go outside. I would do that once an hour for at least 2-3 minutes. 1 minute, even if it's too much. Don't let more than 2 hours go by where you don't connect with that, because your natural system is gonna go back to, I'm a less powerful person who's suffering a lot, who's really frightened. You're gonna go back, who's uncomfortable. You're gonna go back to that, because that identity is so strong in you. See, it's gonna kind of go whoops. So you have to kind of keep nudging it. Whoops, like a child. I remember you're pretty big. Oh, I forgot again. I remember you're pretty. And you keep doing that, and eventually you'll start feeling that more. Then you can decide, do I want to go out today, out of the house? And if your feelings are, that's not right for me, don't go. And if your feeling is, I should go, don't go. And if your feeling is like, if people want to mess with me, I'll crush them, then go. How long will that take? I don't know. Weeks, months, years. There's no timeline that I know. It's your timeline, and your timeline is exactly right. If you get pregnant, you know that better than me. How long should that take? Should it come out in 1 month? No. 2 months? No. 4 months, you might be able to live, but it's a bit difficult, right?
Okay.
There's a time frame and a season for your process that's just right. It's not because you haven't done enough. It's not because you haven't healed enough. It's not because you're too sick. It's because there's a season. You're an extraordinary human being who notices lots of things, who's awake to things that other people aren't, and people will be threatened by the power of your insight and the size of your being and power and perception and clairvoyance and sensitivity to what's going on in the world. That's you. You'll get to know her over time. And you won't see her only through the eyes of people who were threatened by her, who wanted to shrink her and hurt her and put her into a smaller space. She'll grow. She's incubating in there. She's gestating, I guarantee it. And the world's in trouble because someone's coming on the scene who's a boulder, who can roll over people who are going to mess with you or mess with other things. Yeah. That's you. That's the task. That's what your symptoms want from you. They lives in your gut. It lives in your symptoms. It lives in your reactions. Something happens, my system gets irritated. Yeah, because there's a boulder wanting to throw up out of your mouth. It wants to shit out your butt. It's like, what can I attack? Well, I'll attack you inside. At least I'm attacking something. You want that immune system.
You think that, because it's like it's like trying to it's trying to do something.
It's trying to do something and doesn't know how to do it better. And immune systems that don't know how to do things better attack themselves. Because at least, see, if I have fists and I'm not allowed to use them anywhere on the outside, if I'm using with myself, that's not good, but at least I'm using them. I'm not thinking it's good to hit myself. Does it make sense? But from the fist point of view, from the face point of view, it's awful. But from the fist point of view, I'm not going to stop punching. Can you follow?
Yeah.
Then let me do the real thing. That would help. But from the fist point of view, from the boulder point of view, from the power point of view, from the immune system point of view, yeah, I have an immune system. I'm sensitive to all kinds of things and I want to attack them, but I'm too frightened to be as powerful and as attacking and rolling over and sharp-edged as I really am. That makes sense. You'll get there. Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Do you want to say, we have to close up just because of my time. I'm sorry about the interruption for you and everybody else. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened, but it was on my end because everything froze. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say? That's just, you can say anything you want. Hallelujah, or I don't know. We could sing a song. Or
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I think, yeah, I think I'm gonna trust. I'm gonna try my best to trust and to do those things, and to trust that I have wisdom, that I have wisdom and strength within me.
Yeah, great power. If you were a child, I would say, you're a powerful creature. You're a Hulk, or whatever we do, or Wonder Woman, and we'd make something up and we'd walk around. Because, and I'm showing you that because that's the kind of thing something in you needs. She needs to know she's strong. She knows ways in which she's weak, but she doesn't know her strength enough.
Right.
And she is really strong. It's not a lie. It is really strong. It lives inside. It lives in your symptoms. It lives in your chronic illnesses, in the 50 symptoms, in the mast cell activation, and the allergic reactions.
Right.
It lives all there. And your articulateness and your clarity with me. Wait, David, that's not helping. Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? Your sharp intellect. You're very awake. You're very sensitive to what I was doing and whether it was right for you or not. Incredibly awake and sharp person. Sharp. That means sharp you can hurt, or sharp you can see clearly, or sharp you can articulate. All that's in you. I'm calling that an intelligence and a power that lives in you.
Thank you.
The world needs that. I need that. I need people around. I need women around who are boulders to make my world better. Not to just protect me, but to make the world better. So that we have coral reefs that aren't bleached, and trees that aren't mowed down, and fewer people being abused by idiots who don't know any, who are small, but people aren't, but think they're big. We need you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I don't know. I won't try to summarize because it's been too long, but we're unfolding chronic symptoms and traumas and finding the powers that get disowned in us when we get traumatized. One thing that happens when we're traumatized, people say we get frozen, but what frozen means is that things in us aren't free to move. Frozen means that it's not flowing. Frozen is like the flow of my life, the waters of my life, the waves and ocean tidal waves of my life are frozen. And defrosting doesn't just mean, oh, because I'm scared. Defrosting means the thing that I am is now free. So once you defrost, you look like yourself, a sensitive person, a powerful person, a brilliant person, a poetic person, a childlike person. So this whole thing about frozen in trauma is not understood enough. Once that defrosting happens, you start to look like you. Who are you? A powerful person, clairvoyant person with a lot of gifts, etc. That's what we wanted to get to know. That's the healing of the trauma. Looking more like you. That's what we want.
I wanted to say thank you for everybody for all the comments, because I didn't comment to them, but I appreciate being seen for all the heart.
Isn't that touching? Let's look at them. I want to look at them. Oh, we didn't get them before because I don't think it saved them, unfortunately. That's too bad. We just got these, but there are some comments now. Oh, good. There's lots of hearts. Thank you, people. Thank you for noticing that. This is part of your power. You see, I'm serious. You noticed that. I wasn't thinking about that, but you noticed it. There are people making comments. Yeah. So beautiful. So many people need, you gave a big gift because I'm going to put this on YouTube and send it out to people. So many people need it. So many women people, and men people too, but women people who are told don't be too big and don't be too powerful, and if you have some power, you're not being nice and you're a bee and all these other things, and why are you being this way? You should regulate and calm yourself so you're not fierce and scary, and you should learn how to be more feminine, and all this bullshit that hurts too many people, too many women people who have a lot of power in them, and they're being told that they're being gaslit and healed by people who aren't healing them but are complicit with the kind of internalized sexism that doesn't support a woman, in this case, being a scary creature who corrects me, who tells me whether I'm doing right and wrong. I have to get along with that, and it's good for me, not bad. Yeah. So that's what we're exploring today. Lots of love, Angela. Lots of love, everybody. Bye.
Bye.